Hey Fit Pros, it's your host Tyler Valencia here. I quickly want to share a free resource we have on the KIPS website and YouTube channel. If you're struggling with your online workouts or just want to see the items that we recommend, check out our virtual training resources page. You'll find breakdowns on streaming setups, reviews on microphones, and other free videos that can help you build your fitness business today. Did I mention they're free? Go check them out at the link in the description or head over to our website to find them under the blog tab. Welcome to the KIPS podcast. My name is Tyler Valencia and I'm the president of KIPS and Time to Train Fitness. We have a guest that I've been excited to reconnect. She's been on the podcast before. She's coming back. We have Katie Cruz, one of the co-owners of Hit Logic, and she has her new company. But Katie, thank you for coming on the podcast.
I'm happy to be back. Thanks for having me, Tyler.
Yes, let's start it off by just give a background of yourself and Hit Logic and how did you get into the fitness industry and even your background?
Great. So side note is we just celebrated this month our 5th year anniversary. So
wow,
it's
awesome.
A big deal for us. Yeah, we've been open for 5 years. I got into the fitness industry because I was a school teacher and had moved to Central Oregon, Bend. Mm-hmm. And to be more specific, we just had bought some property out in this rural community called Temelo. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't get a teaching job. Coming from California, I was just like, oh, I'll get a teaching job easy. Mm-hmm. Not so much here. There's no attrition. People love it up here. They come here, they stay here. So that was a huge humbling experience for me there. So here I am. I had just turned 40. We just bought this piece of land. I had no job. And we were driving through the little community we moved into, Temelo, and there happened to be a space for rent right next to the local coffee shop. Mm-hmm. And here we are 5 years later. So my husband and I just dove in. We just went for it, took a risk, and it's paid off. My fitness background is I was an athlete my whole life. I started playing sports when I was 7, played basketball in college, and have just always loved working out and fitness. I do it for several reasons: my mental health, to stay feeling confident and strong, and knowing that if something goes down, I can protect myself and I can carry whatever I need. I don't need help for anything. So just always really been into working out. And I love sharing that passion with the people of my community and helping keeping them healthy and strong so that they can play outside of the gym and do what they love. And then just get that fitness in the gym, keep them safe, build up their muscles, and then they can go out and explore Central Oregon.
I love it. I love it. One of the pieces and reason why I wanted to reconnect on the podcast and for you to share is you guys are growing. One of the pieces that you guys have added onto your other locations has been the cycling. And what came up in my mind was you guys have a secret sauce going. You got something going that is really attracting people, helping that growth. And when fitness pros are going to listen to this, they're going to think, what growth over the last 2 years? What's going on here? And taking back to our first recording, we were talking about growing during the pandemic and what you guys were doing with online. And I think a lot of it too was the member experience. And I think that plays into a big hand of what's going on now. What are some of the characteristics that you guys focus on with member experience and customer service?
Right. I like to treat people who come into our gyms as though they're coming into my house. So when someone comes to my house, I welcome them. I show them where things are. I show them where the bathroom is, where to put their things, where to get water. And we greet each member by name. We give them that same experience. You know, we welcome them, we cheer for them, we motivate them. The greetings are huge. I've been to so many gyms throughout my 45 years of life. And sometimes I don't even get a hello. And in group fitness, it's all about the experience. And people who do group fitness are here to work out with like-minded people. They want the social aspect. And now more than ever, like we need to feel connected to others. And, our coaches training is all about the member experience, greeting those members when they come in, introducing them to to each other. I do what's called a forced interaction. And if I know I have a teacher in class and another teacher in class who've never met, then I bring them together and, say, oh, this is so-and-so, she's a teacher, and oh, you're a teacher too. And then they get to talking, and then I kind of walk off and I go talk to somebody else. So it's just connecting people. And I often compare like coming into a gym, like you're going into a job interview, you're nervous, you don't know what to expect, you're feeling a little insecure. Yeah. Is everyone going to stare at me? And our job as coaches is to take all of that away and just welcome you and make you feel safe and make you feel comfortable. And it's a legitimate thing that we're doing. We're not doing it to be fake or, just to get the members. Like, we sincerely care about each one of our members because they are what make us great. So we can give you the hardest workout, but if you don't feel valued or connected to anyone in your class or to your coach, then, you're not going to come back. Yeah. And every gym member probably has a shelf life, but we have members who've been with us for 5 years. So awesome. Yeah. And I can tell you everything about those members, and they're like family to me. I see them out in my community, and, I care about them. They know my family. And one thing I was reflecting on before coming on here is the interactions that I personally have with members is I get text messages sometimes at 9:00 at night from members. And and it doesn't bother me because they're important to me, and, they're my customer. But I think back, like I've never been part of a gym where I felt comfortable enough to text the owner. Yeah. So I'm really proud of that. I take a lot of pride in that. Sometimes it bothers my husband, but I'll always respond to those text messages. I love them. I love getting text messages, members telling me they got their first box jump, or I was out on a bike ride today and I could hear you telling me like to keep pushing, and I got through it. So it's the things like that that keep me going. And that's what motivates me, is I want to help others. I personally feel a satisfaction when somebody succeeds, and it makes me feel good to watch them succeed. So that's where I get my drive from. And again, just making people feel welcomed and special and important, because they truly are to us.
I love it. A question that came up in my head that I remember when I started in the fitness industry, and every now and then I go back and forth with how many years it's been. But I'll say that the first gym I worked at, I remember there was a trainer there. She was the head trainer. There was no label on it, but she was talking about, and I know it's a sensitive subject for some instructors, the whole work-life balance. And you even hear people talk about it now. And I know that my work-life balance has always been different, and it's never bothered me. I especially think with technology, texting clients outside of times and all that kind of stuff, it's never been a nuisance to me. I always think, just how you said, that these are your clients. You want them to feel like you can talk to them and that you can essentially build that relationship. How do you look at the work-life balance with running the business, having members, having staff, all that kind of stuff? Do you think that there is time to shut things off, or what is kind of your approach to that?
I think there is time to shut things off. Me personally, I struggle with wanting to shut things off. I coach 7 days a week. So my downtimes are like the afternoons between probably like 1:30 and 3:30 is my time to just decompress, turn my phone off, and then just breathe at that point. And then I'm back on at 4:00 until sometimes 6:30 at night. So I think that as a small business owner, you have to hustle, and you have to put in the time. And if you're looking for set hours to rest or come down, I don't know if that exists for small business owners. So I would just say, as long as I can get my own workout in, then everyone will be fine. Yeah. So that's something that, we really preach to our coaches too, because our coaches come in and they want to coach. And I have to tell them, like, you have to take a step back, because you have to plan time for yourself to work out, because that's why we're all here, because we love to work out. We love to exercise. We love to move. Coaching, you get to move, but you're not in it exercising while you're coaching a class. So you must find time for that. And then I think if you just commit to like a couple hours a day where you're just decompressing, letting it all go, I think that you'll avoid burnout. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I feel burned out probably 85% of the time. And then I get a good night's sleep and I'm ready to roll again. So sleep is really important.
Yeah. And I like what you said about, talking to your staff about it, talking to your coaches about it, that they got to have time for themselves. And I think the whole approach of exercise too is a part of self-care. That is, you're working that into your schedule. And that's actually a good segue into the next question, because I really feel strongly about management type and also how you work with your staff, and to be speaking with you that you have a business that's growing, continuing to grow and expanding, and not being a humongous gym franchise like the ones that we see on multiple corners in any town, that they're special. There's something that you guys are doing even with your staff. And with management, I've always talked about that you have to give your people the tools to succeed. That's really important to me. I've said in different podcasts, I have an interview that I had to write some type of my responses up, and one of those happened to be about management and the way that I approach it. And one of those things is really that I think that oftentimes people are so ingrained to say sorry for so many things. You'll be teaching them and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I'm like, well, why did you have to? You shouldn't be sorry. You didn't know that. This is something that we're learning together. And I think that's from prior experiences. And I really think that you got to give them those tools. And oftentimes it takes a little extra time, but giving them the tools to succeed. And, that creates a culture too. And you guys obviously have a culture that you guys are constantly working with. How do you approach management and culture within your business?
So our coaches are really unique, I think, to this industry, in that all of our coaches were members first. So I've never put out an ad hiring coaches or trainers. I have never hired anybody who has not been a member at least a year. I have actually two who are slightly under that. So they understand the importance of community. They understand like the experience that we're giving. And they came to me. A lot of them came to me and said, like, I want to be involved in this. I want to coach. And they meet the criteria. Like, they have great technical form. They're outgoing. They're kind. They cheer you on. And they have a love for our gym and our community. Our community in itself is really unique in that this rural town is like, you head down to a popular food truck lot and everyone there because you work out with them. You go to the coffee shop and everyone there. So everyone in the community is connected in some way. So to be part of another thing in the community that can connect you to others, people want that. And that's what makes our coaches unique. Some of our coaches have an education background in teaching, and that helps tremendously because as a teacher, you're wearing many hats, you're multitasking, you're putting out small fires everywhere. And a lot of our coaching is done on the fly. You have to think on your feet. You have to watch people's form, keep everyone safe. And our coaches are amazing. It's funny that you call them staff. Like, I would never refer to them as staff. They're my coaches or my friends. They're like part of our family. I know all their kids. I've watched them like go through pregnancies, watch their babies grow up. So we're all part of this big family. In terms of leadership, we've taken on a couple coaches to have a more leadership type role and remove some of that administrative side from my husband and myself, which has helped a lot. And they're coming to us like, we want more. We want to be involved. We want to grow. We want more with the company. So, our coaches are amazing. We wouldn't be here without them, and they're reliable. And our members love them, and everyone has their own personality, which is fun. But I think that the main point to take away is that they were all members prior to becoming and transitioning into coaches.
I dig that. And I like that uniqueness. I'm sure that whole immersion process where they know what's going on. They know that process because they went through it. So like when they tell somebody that, hey, like here's what we're doing, and when they walk someone through it, they know what it's like being on the other side. And when you were talking earlier too about that experience of how you bring a new member in, and to me, the first thing that popped in my head was about breaking down those barriers to exercise. That it's scary for some to walk into something new. It's something foreign, or there's weights, there's bars, there's all kinds of equipment. They're like, oh my goodness, I've never touched any of this. And now they are fully putting themselves into it. So what you guys are doing, it's great that you guys are getting them into that. They're getting them into the culture of what you guys are about. And a question that I'm sure many people will have listening, and that because they work at a gym and they've had to go through this, how do you guys handle or work with a member that is quiet or shy, that is probably going to take a little bit more time? What is kind of your thought process in working through that?
For me personally, it's proximity. Mm-hmm. So the closer you are to somebody, the more likely they're going to respond to you, as opposed to me standing across the gym trying to cheer for you. I'll check in with them. Like, are you doing okay? Give me a thumbs up. You good? And then, just asking them about themselves. People love to talk about themselves. I know I do. So, like, tell me about yourself. Oh, do you have kids? Your kids go to the local school? Where do you guys live? Oh, I live here. And just, getting to know somebody and making them feel like we value them and they're important to us, because they are. And I think what makes our coaches unique is that all of our coaches had a day one in our gym. And day one doing anything is scary and intimidating. So they know, like, they have the empathy. I've been in your shoes. I can get you through day one. And what's awesome is a coach will say that, and so many members will jump in. Oh my gosh, my day one. Yay, it's your day one. You're going to do it. My day one was this. I did that. And then everyone cheers that person on the whole class. It's so amazing. So that's like the culture we've created, is that we're like a team in here, and everyone's working out and just building each other up. And I tell my coaches, I'm like, in the whole scheme of things, it's just a workout. It should not be super serious. Have fun, make it a great experience for everybody. If you mess up, big deal. Say you messed up, fix it, move on. Nobody cares. It's a workout, and people are here for one reason, and it's to move. So let's give them like that fun, best experience. We have great music, just make it fun. And people who are shy don't stay shy for very long. They eventually start to open up and start to feel comfortable. And then they'll start to grab maybe a heavier weight, or they'll start to challenge themselves. They'll try a box jump. Box jumps, for people who have never done them, is one of the biggest steps in terms of like confidence boosting, believing in yourself, because it's all mental, right? Like you can jump. If you can jump, you can get on a box, but it's that mental block. So for those people who are timid to try it, and we get them to try it, just watching their face light up, like that's what it's all about for us. And it sounds kind of cheesy, but I mean, I've actually cried before watching people box jump because I know how hard it was for them to get to that point. And that's that's for reals. I'm not faking that. I really did get tears in my eyes watching someone get their first box jumps. Like, it's such a milestone. And that's why on those days when I'm feeling burned out, that's what I go back to.
I love it. I love that. Yeah. That, I feel like that it shows how much you are ingrained in every piece, that those small things, those are part of what help keep you going.
And
the passion.
And all of our coaches are going to celebrate that. I get texts and pictures all the time. Like, look what so-and-so did. Look at this. And we're all super proud of everybody. And again, that's why we're different, and that's why we're unique, and we create that member experience. So I know that, our members are paying a premium price for premium membership. So we're going to give them the premium experience. So we're not going to take that for granted.
I love it. I love it. And in our last episode that we did, and I remember this because I remember thinking about this too, like, oh, what pieces could I potentially expand on. And one of those was when you're talking about online workouts and the community. And I think it was so interesting the way that you were talking about even how people tune in for the online workouts. They're not even there to work out. They just want to come to support. They want to be able to help other people, and they're chiming in on it. And I think that was, wow, that's uniqueness. That's something that people during their workday, they want to go cheer somebody on that is going through something that's typically hard, working out. And I think that was something that I'm sure has now bled into other areas of the business. And with online workouts, how has your community grown now in terms of, did you guys take some of those pieces that you're like, okay, some of this was pretty good and maybe we want to utilize some of it? Or did you guys say, okay, no, we're going to shift back to online? What did you guys learn from that whole process of the last couple of years online and community growing?
We learned a lot about music rights. A lot. Mm-hmm. Our online membership is still active. It's still strong. Mm-hmm. We have people from all over the country. We had one member in Italy, and now she's back in the States, which was really cool. Mm-hmm. We still do live workouts once a day at 6 a.m. in the morning. And we still have a ton of members who utilize both. They'll come into the gym or they'll stay home. Mm-hmm. So they haven't skipped a beat in that arena. I think that what we've learned is that there is a market out there for online workouts. Mm-hmm. And I think it takes a really special type of person to commit to it. Because like I said, group fitness is about the community and the experience and being around like-minded people. So when you take that out and you're just online, you lose that. However, we're really good at cheering for them on the live and telling the people in class who's on live. So we have one particular member, her name is Teresa. She's just an all-around badass. And when she's on the live, we're cheering for Teresa. You hear other people cheering, and everyone knows Teresa. Everyone's cheering for Teresa. And then, every once in a while she comes into the gym, and it's always great to see her. So it's just bringing them, even though they're not physically in the gym, still shouting out at them, motivating them, and treating them as though they are in the gym. Mm-hmm. And that's really unique too. Yeah. And saying their name, just saying someone's name, just, that's like, oh, I'm here. They see me. I see, I see you, you see me. So it's just trying to bridge that gap between like being physically in the gym and then being online. But I think that, based on our numbers, we're doing a pretty good job with that. Mm-hmm. Biggest issue is the music rights. Yeah, getting muted.
Yeah. Are you guys running those simultaneously right now?
Yeah. So we, every morning at 6 a.m., we stream a live workout.
Wow.
With our 6 a.m. class. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen some of that with social media, and it definitely interests me. It's definitely the technical aspects of it are interesting to me, just trying to figure out the logistics of those with audio and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure that that's been a process for you guys with it, with that simulcast of it. And with now the expansion process, that's something that I've been excited to hear more about. And before we started recording, I gave you what I thought about it in terms of the branding. Everything is just so on point with your guys' HIT cycling or cycle HIT. And what was your process of, okay, let's see what the cycling realm looks like. And if we can apply some of these or a lot of what we do with HIT logic into cycling, what was that process, that communication between you and your husband?
Right. So, we thought about, our dream would be to own like a big space and have all these different modalities in there. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, like that's not realistic with the area that we live in. Mm-hmm. So a space opened up, and my husband has always talked about spin and cycle. Mm-hmm. And I love it. I think it's a great supplement to strength training. Mm-hmm. So we just, as we do so many things in our life, we just went for it, dove in, cannonball from the deep end. And my husband, John, did pretty much the whole build out and the design of the gym.
Wow.
And the same gal, her name's Emily Hoy, who did our Hit Logic logo. I reached out to her. She created the Cycle Hit logo, which is beautiful. And it's so modern and catchy. We love it. Mm-hmm. And then I'm in charge of the programming. So I'm thinking, I go to a regular spin class and it's a great workout, but it's not something I'm going to do every day. Mm-hmm. I don't need the dark lights and like the dim lighting with like the neon lights, like that's not my jam when I'm working out. I just want to get a good workout in. Mm-hmm. So I thought about that. I have never been a spin instructor, but I've been to several classes and I know how to lead a group workout. So I kept our same structure, our 3-part workout that we use in our HIIT gym. And I brought that over to Cycle. So we're on and off the bike throughout the whole class. You're not on the bike for 45 minutes. You're doing a Tabata, you're doing an EMOM or an AMRAP off the bike, working your shoulders and your core and your legs. And then you're on the bike doing intervals. And the feedback we're getting is super positive. One of our instructors has taught spin for 10 years, and she just keeps raving to me about how she loves the format and it's so unique, and it just keeps it interesting, keeps everyone fired up, and you're constantly moving, you're getting no rest, and you're out the door in 45 minutes. So wow. It's working well. The structure, like I said, I stayed true to who I am, and I stayed true to my programming. My programming has been successful for 5 years. Mm-hmm. And I have the confidence knowing that I could carry that over into the cycling world. And it's so fun and I love it. And I think it's probably the hardest cycling workout you're going to do.
Mm-hmm. I dig it. Yeah. Next time that I'm in that area, I'll have to come try that out.
Yes.
With cycling and your guys' other locations, what I'm getting is the sense of you guys, the experience with the customers, the programming, all of it is part of you guys' branding. Yeah. I want to go back to the customer experience now. Did you guys basically take that mixture and then applied it with your cycling location?
Yes. So we have a lot of members who've added on that cycling to their current membership. Mm-hmm. Because like I said, it is a great supplement. The issue is that with our cycle gym is that we're not going to do a lot of strength training. It's going to be body weight movements. Mm-hmm. So it's a great supplement. We have some people who are intimidated by HIIT, intimidated by lifting weights. So we have new members who have never been a member at HIIT Logic join Cycle and mm-hmm. love it. I still put the coaches through the normal coaches training, mm-hmm. which is mostly just all about the member experience. And yeah, so far we're doing great. I think we're at like 16 members and we opened on January 5th.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're doing well. We don't do a ton of marketing. So most of our members come from referrals or social media.
I love it. Mm-hmm. I love it. I dig it. So now with growth and looking at the last few years in terms of the pandemic, how it affected the fitness industry and how you guys can consistently just pushed on and figured things out. What would you say the biggest aspect that you guys have learned? I know that's a very broad question. What would you say the biggest thing that you guys have learned and how it has affected your guys' business in a positive way?
You mean moving through the pandemic?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that we've learned is that creating relationships and having a strong business model mm-hmm. will carry you through, and being smart about your choices and always trying to stay one step ahead. Like my husband is brilliant. He has such a business mind, and I'm more of like the face and the personality of the company. So the two of us together work really well, like the yin and the yang. Mm-hmm. And he's a dreamer and he dreams big. And, I get caught up in that sometimes. And so we just go for things, and that's always helped. And I think that it comes down to having a passion for what you do and not doing it to make money. Obviously, we all want to make money. We have a family to support.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do something that you believe in and that you love and you're passionate about, it comes out in what you do.
Yeah.
And people will pay to be a part of that. And I think that that's what we've created. And we've created these meaningful relationships with our community and our members. And they sing our praises to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And all of our memberships come from referrals. And some are walk-ins off the street, but most are referrals. So I think it's just, having a business mind, but also being willing to take risks and believing in what you're doing. Like, I believe that our gym could be successful anywhere. We don't have the means, obviously, to pop up everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's also what helped us during the pandemic, is that we weren't some big global gym, and we were already operating in a way that was conducive to safety guidelines, which helped us a lot.
Yeah.
So I would say, just to circle back, is just having a strong vision, believing in what you're doing, and just being honest. Yeah. And following your passion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got a question for you that I was asked recently, and listening to you speak about your husband, I'm sure that my response is probably very similar to how he would respond to it. And it has to do with risk. And people that know me know that I have a business mind. I think about business and all the details that go into that. And with risk, it's a part of any business. And with you guys opening up a new format, you guys continuing to push on with all you're doing, there's risk with all of it. I think that's part of being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, is the risk. How do you measure risk when you're looking at something?
I'm not really sure that I do, honestly.
That's okay.
I think about, like probably the upfront costs at first, and then, how we're going to drive memberships. That's what I think about. But risk doesn't scare me. Sometimes it does, but most of the time it doesn't, because I believe in myself, and I believe in our business, and I believe in my husband, and I know we'll make it. Things always work out, right? It may be a rough road to get there, but things will always work out in the end. And, I want to teach my daughters that too. Like, you have to take a risk. You have to get uncomfortable to grow. So, I think one thing that we've learned is that we need to maybe be a little more cautious moving forward in terms of like opening new locations. We can't just always dive right in. We need to take a step back and start assessing more variables. But risk for me is, I think about, is this growth going to impact our members? And is it going to hurt the brand? So I want to make sure that I have enough coaches to open a new location. And I want to make sure that those coaches are vetted and that people are still getting the same experience. So that's immediately what I think of. I don't honestly really think of the financial side, which I probably should. I just lead more with how can I get members in, and how can I give them that experience so that they stay with us?
Yeah. I dig your answer. I think that it's very similar to how I responded to that. It's part of you don't think about it when you're a small business owner, because you've had experiences that have built that confidence up, that you've done so many things in the past that if there's something new that comes up, you're like, oh yeah, okay, what are those steps? What are all the steps I need to take to make this successful? That I can make sure that whatever risk I'm taking, it's not so much of a risk. It's more of a, let's tackle it. Let's find all the X, Y, Z's, and I'm ready for it. And I think that it comes with that experience factor. That's kind of where how I answered that question, is that it's just that experience, whether it's life or education, that it helps build all that up. So you're not sitting there, oh, I don't know if I can do this. You're really going, letting it play through your head. And I think that every small business owner kind of has that. They got that courage. They got the guts to just jump in, because they want it. They want it to create that lifestyle. That
I agree.
That independent lifestyle, that you're not waiting for a business owner to make those decisions. You want to make those decisions. So definitely a part of that.
And I believe in our programming and our workouts.
Yeah.
And I know that if someone tries our class, comes to a workout, like they're going to want to do it.
Yeah.
Like I have no doubt, like this is one of the hardest workouts you'll ever do mentally and physically, while having fun and making friends and connecting to people and laughing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's what you put into it, but we're going to pull that out of you so that you do put everything you have into it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can see how all of that does happen with the customer experience that you shared. I think that it's very apparent that does. I have no doubt. And I think that it's amazing to hear about it, especially with what we were talking about before recording, is that every gym needs to reassess that, in my opinion, that they need to reassess how they are treating their members, because before they would say, oh, you know, we're a gym, we're going to just keep going. We have our cheaper memberships, we have XYZ, and people are just going to continue to sign up. We'll have our peak months and we'll just keep members coming. If they quit, though, whatever. And now with so many options out there, that gyms need to relook at it. They need to look at how are they treating people? What experience are they creating for them? Do you have a front desk staff that is saying hello, that knows people's names as they walk? All the things that anybody in the fitness industry essentially knew these things because they worked at gyms or they went through it themselves with joining a gym. And you're just like, why? I'm paying for this gym. Why don't you care that you guys have my money, that you guys are, I'm paying you guys and you guys act like you don't care. And it's just an interesting thing about the industry we work in. But that's a good little segue now for more advice here. We're going to get to our podcast takeaways. And with the podcast takeaways, a great opportunity to hear from the guest, and because every guest has a different experience, different experiences they've gone through. Whether they're small business owners, they're instructors, coaches, whatever it is, everybody has a different outlook on the industry. So Katie, in your opinion, what are 3 myths about the fitness industry?
Number 1, I would say that you don't have to have a ton of certifications to be good at your job. Yeah. Second myth, not everyone comes into the gym wanting to look like a bodybuilder. So don't approach them that way, because they may be there just to relieve their stress. Myth number 3 is, I would say that joining a gym shouldn't be something like you're made that you should feel like you have to do. It should be something that you want to do to get better at your hobbies outside of the gym. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I dig it. The one that I'll just chime in on is the first one. And just because people probably think that maybe I have some extra certifications, but I actually have 0 current certifications. I do have degrees. I have
and
degrees.
Nobody would know that because nobody really asks you that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have no doubt that if somebody wanted to question it, I'd be ready to lay the smack down with some training. Yeah. But with education and certifications, I think that I see a lot of people talking about those and even distinguishing between certain ones of them. And I think there's sometimes even a misunderstanding of certifications and even entry-level certifications. And I think that our conversation today kind of proves my viewpoint with it, is that, okay, you have your education, your certification to get in the door, but what do you learn from where you're working? All those things that you mentioned today with the member experience, that all the training that you put into your coaches, that is what helps them grow and helps them stay within the fitness industry, that they have all this training that they got after that. They're not going to learn customer experience in a entry-level certification. They're going to read a couple pages, maybe a paragraph about it, but every step that you guys put into it, that is what makes it golden, that it makes it a much better way to learn. And I think that it's something for a lot of people to look at. So Katie, before we sign off here, can you give social media links, website information for even online about Hit Logic and Hit Cycle?
Sure. So Cycle Hit website is, that's okay, www.cyclehit.com. Same for HitLogic, HIIT logic.com. We're on Instagram, Facebook at CycleHit at HitLogic.
And what if somebody want to get in contact with you?
Info at hitlogic.com, email, or Katie at hitlogic.com. Yeah.
Perfect. Katie, great episode. Thank you for sharing so many great things that people should take. They should apply them right away. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Tyler. Thanks for having me.